The US election pitted John Kerry, a man who looked like Russ Abbott, against Bush, a man who walked like a toothbrush was shoved up his arse. Bush was struggling. The economy was faltering, cameras caught his motorcade driving over a tramp, and the war was going badly. There was only one way he and his party could get America to vote for him.
In the heart of this great city, we saw tragedy arrive on a quiet morning. September the 11th. September the 11th. September the 11th.
September 11th. September 11th. September 11th. September 11th. September 11th. September 11th.
September 11th. September 11th.
September 11th. September 11th.
September 11th. September 11th. September 11th. September 11th.
September 11th. September 11th. September 11th. September 11th. September 11th. September 11, 2001. Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein.
Saddam.
Saddam.
Saddam. Saddam. Saddam.
Saddam Hussein.
Weapons of mass destruction.
Weapons of mass destruction. Weapons programs.
The deadliest of weapons.
Terrible weapons.
Nuclear weapons.
Tyranny and terror.
Terror of threats.
Terror.
Terror.
Terror. War on terrorism.
War against terrorism.
Global war on terror.
Global terrorism. 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 Terrorism.
Terrorism.
Terrorism. Terrorism. Terrorism. Terrorism. Terrorism. Terrorism. Terrorism. The evil terrorists. 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 Terrorists.
Terrorist, 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 terrorist.
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 Terrorists. Terrorists.
Terrorists. Terrorists. Terrorists. Terrorists. Terrorists. Terrorists. Terrorists. Terrorists. Terrorists. Terrorists. Terrorists.
The climate of fear has just turned me into even more of a racist, which I didn't think was possible.
Check out the Pentagon Channel, serving those who serve.
Coming up on Freedom Journal Iraq, service members celebrating Thanksgiving and destroying munitions in Balad.
While America was fighting its own election, it was bringing democracy to Iraq.
And listen to your candidates speak. If you can't hear them, it's your fault.
The editor of the Daily Mirror resigned after publishing photographs showing British troops torturing Iraqi prisoners that were clearly fake. Meanwhile, the Pentagon continued to play down the abuse of naked prisoners in Abu Ghraib.
We were helping them make a gay porn film. Gay porn is part of Muslim culture.
What you don't see in that photo is the GI on the bottom of the pile of naked bodies handing out sweets.
The Iraq War, what was all that about?
Well, it was about the... Just days before the election, Osama bin Laden sent a tape to Al Jazeera.
Well, a few moments ago I spoke to Jihad Balloo from Al Jazeera Television, who explained how they got hold of that tape in the first place.
I don't know, we just got it, received it, yeah.
When you say you received it, how did you receive it?
Just came through the door with some, pizza menus and stuff like that.
Well, it just arrived at your front door?
Yeah, I think everyone in the street got one, so, And Barry said we should, put it on the computer, chop it about a bit, edit it, that kind of thing.
And then you say you went through a process of editing. What form does that take?
Well, we cut out all the most boring stuff for a start, right? Like talking and stuff like that. Then we just have some wicked effects, like explosions and fire and stuff like that to make it more scarier,
So you haven't put the whole statement out?
No, it was totally boring and crap, man. We might put the full version on the DVD, but...
What did you think was the most important thing that he said?
To be honestly frank with you, Matthew, right, I didn't really understand a lot of it. It was just gibberish to me, man. I just do the editing, and that's it, really.
But you didn't have any doubts about broadcasting it?
No way, man, because it's wicked, Especially with all the scary effects and stuff we've done on it, I think it looks really good.
The technical quality of it, from this distance and looking at the monitor in front of us here, is actually looks very good to me and looks rather better than some of the previous tapes.
Thanks very much, yeah. Well, that's mainly down to Barry. And I'm on the phone. Sorry. Yeah, I think if people like it, that's the main thing.
New question.
In the first presidential debate, George Bush at last had the chance to get away from the war on terror and discuss everything else.
North Korea and Iran, taking them in any order you would like.
Let me first Let me, we're facing let me finish. I have, September the 11th,
Back in the US, Bush was still subtly reminding people of 9/11.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York. These vagabond shoes are longing to stray right through the very heart of it. New York, New York.
Meanwhile, Carey had to put up with lies from his opponents about his record in Vietnam.
I served with John Kerry. John Kerry has not been honest about what happened in Vietnam.
He dressed up as Stalin and ran away. He wore a dress, and he started AIDS. He told me he could juggle. He sold his gun to Lee Harvey Oswald. He killed me.
I want to wake up in a city that never sleeps and find I'm a number one, top of the list, king of the hill, a number one. These little town blues.
In the end, Kerry may have lost the election by being far too wordy.
So here is our economic plan to build a stronger America. First, reduce the cost to American taxpayers, reduce the risk to American soldiers, every tool in our arsenal, our economic as well as our military might, our principles as well as our firepower, our strength, our diversity, our love of country, family, faith, hard work, opportunity and responsibility for all. Every child, every adult, every parent, every worker in America, people are working weekends, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and they're still not getting ahead. New incentives to revitalize manufacturing. Second,
If I can make it there, I'm gonna make it anywhere. It's up to you, New York.